Hello, this is a musical debate. We are conditioned to dehumanizing animals.
How are you doing? Sir Adam the First.
Dehumanizing the hell out of them.
On veganism versus eating everythingism.
Vegan debate. I like to call myself a carnivore. Thank you very much. Definitely.
No one wants to think about a bacon's feelings. We eat bacon because bacon tastes amazing and everyone loves bacon. No one's going to talk about the fucking pig. Because it's just not cool. Don't ruin my bacon. You know? Like, that's how we are conditioned.
Dude, but we're conditioned to not only think about it, but there's something in meat that makes it addicting. It's just like the taste of it, all the fats, like those type of fats. Like, why do those taste so good?
What are some other really big arguments against veganism?
It goes against like what you were raised in, so that's just like a huge culture hit.
Here's you know
I think it's the heart.
I think that's what's crazy about everything. If you were born as an isolated human with no cultural norms to influence your behavior, would you have an instinct? If you saw a cow, would you have an instinct to pet it and love it, or would you have an instinct to murderously slay it, burn it, and eat it? Because that's the only value you saw in it.
Bro, you know what's crazy is that, like, for a hot second I was like, yeah, I'll kill that and eat it, and I'm like, holy fuck, bro, I've been mad conditioned. Like, just seeing these commercials and like not even putting one and one together, like,
because you know what's
this
crazy?
Is chicken. It was like, oh yeah, this came from a chicken.
Because in that scenario, you would have remembered how you and the cow looked at each other, exchanged glances, exchanged energy. Maybe if you petted it even once, you would no longer want to kill it. But you know what's funny is because
people normalize it.
By the time it's in front of you in a burger, you're not petting a cow, you're not smiling at it. It's right there. Eat it.
Bro, it's just like, dude, it's just like a whole bunch of shit I can't eat anymore.
I want to touch on eggs and cheese. What the Health, the documentary. A lot of people bash What the Health for having like claims that weren't scientific across the board. But one thing that I found backed up in other articles was cheese being as addictive as cocaine and like those substances.
Yeah.
And it's so funny, like you can Google it, cheese addictive as cocaine, and just read what comes up. There's like some chemical in there that could be like leveled out. And it's so funny when I thought about my own experience, that was the one thing I couldn't give up. Like, cheese is on pizza. Pizza is everywhere. Cheese is everywhere if you're eating it, you know, until I had to give it up. And that's just like tough. But when you realize how chemically dependent you are on cheese, you're like, I didn't realize I had these addictions. Like, you know, like, and when you...
Well, but are you chemically dependent because it's just everywhere? Are you chemically dependent because you want it?
Well, you realize you're chemically dependent on it when you go on a 7-day vegan challenge, and by day 3, you're like on the floor crawling, dreaming of cheese. You know, or like not imagining you ever without pizza with real cheese again. Like imagining that you'll, like, that's literally like...
Yeah, that sounds crazy.
Yeah.
That sounds hella scary.
And the other thing, an argument against eggs...
I don't eat eggs anymore.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Like Gary Yourofsky, who's like you could look him up. His lectures are crazy. He just shows videos of chickens pooping eggs out and being like, "This is not food." Like, he just shows the eggs coming out. He's just literally simply like, "This is not food. This is." And it's just like, you know, I always thought it's like, hey, I'm eating like a chicken's baby, like that came out of its like whatever. Like, I guess this is just normal. But like, if I were a human in a simulation that wasn't influenced by norms and just saw chicken pooping an egg,
that's so true.
I would not crack it, boil it, and eat it. I'd be like, what's that egg gonna turn into? A chicken. I wouldn't be like, your next egg, I'm gonna eat it. I'm gonna boil it and eat it. Like, no. You know?
Dude, no, it's so true. Like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck are we doing eating eggs?
Yeah.
Like,
but everyone says it has protein, it has this, it has that. Like, if you're fed
You're like, no
with
shit,
all
because
of
it's gonna be a fucking grown being, and like, oh, this life force is high in good nutrients. Like, no shit, it needs to be fucking nutrient rich to be a baby.
Yeah, dude.
Damn, dude, I don't even know why I stopped eating eggs. It's just like, bro, fuck eggs. I was like, at one point, I was like, I don't even fucking like eggs that
They
much.
look nasty, but like honestly, man, I still feel bad as we talk about these things because so many people I love in my life eat all these things, and I have visions of everyone eating everything. So it sucks, but at the same time, it feels very good because I know what I'm talking about comes from a true place within my own heart. So it's nice to just express what I see, and I just know that we're talking about things that I think most people feel in a deep place inside of them. And it's nice to witness conditioning, and it's nice to see if you do believe things, regardless of what these viewpoints look like. Whatever.
Right.
Believe what you believe. But don't be afraid to hear another viewpoint that could possibly bring you to a choice that liberates you from something.
I can't imagine anybody who eats meat and then hears all the arguments of veganism and like it doesn't sit in their brain. Like you got to be a fucking zombie and be like, oh, okay, no cancer, no, risk of heart disease. Like I don't have to fucking be a part of killing all these animals. Like, well,
I ate everything for 22 years, so I know what all of my justifications look like. I was conditioned forever. I'm only 24, so I'm only 2 years a vegan. The biggest logic that I had for continuing to eat meat was me stopping eating meat is not going to stop people from killing animals. So might as well, if the animals are going to die, eat it anyway. But for me to look deep into that argument, now that I see humans and animals as equal, if everyone was killing humans and turning them into food, and if my argument against eating humans was they're going to kill humans anyway and turn it into food, why not? That would sound ridiculous. I just don't believe in eating humans regardless of how many people are doing it around me and how they're packaging it. So it's just that plain as day for me now.
So why are carnivores ever a thing? If veganism is so good for us, we're obviously herbivores. Like, how did the concept of cannibalism even come up into evolutionary
You know what? Let me cut the music real quick. Well, this dude named Gary Yourofsky, he compares us right now, the way we're treating animals, to the Holocaust. He calls it that this is today's Holocaust. This is today's.
Yeah,
and a lot of people get mad at him because that's that's a horrible. Like they say, it's a horrible comparison. But regardless of whether you're mad at him for that statement or not, it makes you think for a second. Because your question was, how are we carnivores this whole time? Well, that question to me could also ask how the Holocaust ever happened.
Well, we know why the Holocaust happened.
Why?
A crazy motherfucker.
Yeah. So, how do we not know we were also being crazy motherfuckers when we were being carnivores? Meaning, okay, I think everyone has played God in the sense that everyone, and it doesn't help that the Bible has examples of people sacrificing bulls. So anyone that was religious was like, oh, they're doing it in the Bible. I could obviously do it as well. Even though I feel like that's like going to Leviticus and telling yourself not to cut your hair. Just you're basing something off a specific verse. I don't think it's a valid argument. Anyway, but you're not using the Bible. But
yeah, no, I think that's super interesting because if you think about it, I bet in the times where religion was very strong, let's talk about maybe medieval Europe.
Yeah.
There were no such thing as vegans because everybody's consciousness. We weren't thinking in terms of damn, this animal might be living or not, but there's a God telling me that I'm supposed to eat meat and I'm supposed to do this and that.
Yeah.
But when your consciousness isn't locked down, your consciousness is free, and you have free ideas, you realize that I can't fucking eat another animal.
Yo, have you heard the whole thing, like, so if you think about the amount of animals, like the amount of meat that's out there was animals that were in slaughterhouses and they were killed when they were in their highest states of fear, right? Because they were going through slaughterhouses. Have you heard that, like, whole strain of info, like, you're eating meat with a bunch of stress hormones and fear hormones?
Dude, yeah, I've heard about that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, dude.
So that's just a whole other thing. You're not eating an animal that was peaceful all the way up to the end. You're probably eating something that was traumatized for a long period of time. Which is crazy, and I wonder how that leads to the energy of humans.
Dude,
If you just ate a traumatized chicken, that might affect you.
Bro, it's like when I've had fucking these pork tacos today, and I look at the fucking frozen pork, and I just like sat there and I was like, let me think about the pig that I used to came from. So, fuck.
Yeah, the way whenever I used to enter, when I was a meat eater, whenever I used to enter that train of thought, what would help me would be like just me looking at the cow and blessing it. Like me just being like, oh, I love you, cow. Like I'm respectfully eating you. Like, you know, like that's how I would justify.
You had a hard life, bro.
Yeah.
I got you, bro.
Yeah, it's like it's so funny, dude. And like, okay, so the other big thing that kept me was everyone always says that you can't get all your nutrients from if you stop meat. Like meat has this, that, and the third. But we're not acknowledging that there's like what? Probably 1 million different herbs, nuts, grains.
Yeah.
The amount of things on this planet that there is every nutrient available.
Yeah, bro, there's no way.
Beyond.
Yeah, it's like, wait, so you're telling me all the stuff that's in an animal, the animal got
it's
from
just pure laziness. It's more work to look into changing something. Here's like the really like sad thing. Like no one likes to think of slaughterhouses. But like if you bring your attention back to like the pigs stuck and like dying without mobility, the cows, the goats, we really just dehumanize in the sense that the only way to live with ourselves, knowing that animals are in slaughterhouses in the masses, is to convince ourselves that animals don't have real feelings, real consciousness, and that they're just robots. That's the only way I could peacefully move about my day. If they're robots, then I don't have to care about them. Like, whatever, let's slaughter them all. Let's put them all on machines and just kill them all. But if they're not robots, which is way more likely, it seems like they're very alive. We just can't relate with what it means to be them because we're so self in us.
Here's like a crazy spiritual idea. So they artificially inseminate female cows.
What does that mean?
Like they just like get bull sperm and they just put it on a big glove and they just shove the glove in the female cow's cervix to get to like the uterus, and they artificially impregnate them. So, do you understand what I'm saying?
But it's interesting, like, you know, Jordan Peterson, like Canadian psychologist, huge lecturer, face and voice, he like did the carnivore diet, or like, I believe he did, yeah. And then his daughter healed from many, like, she had a very specific thing, like I forgot, some kind of autoimmune. She is now on a carnivore diet and has healed many of her health problems apparently and has many people on this. So that's like, it's like interesting, you know, it's like when I see things like that, especially someone who I really respect, like Jordan Peterson, like, you know, and then like it's like, but nothing like, it's like someone saying to me like, hey, I got on an all human diet, it healed me of all of this, and like, yeah, this is what's good for me, and like, it works for many other people as well. It's like, well, that's great, but like, we should probably just figure out another way to sustain you.
Yeah, bro.
Like, you know, it's like,
dude,
there's another combination of nutrients.
Yeah, Joe Dispenza, bro. Like, but there's no way that you're getting everything from a meat animal that all meat animals eat plants. So like you're not making anything new really as far as like proteins.
Yeah, dude. And I'm convinced that many of the passionate arguments against veganism just comes from a place of, I really am not going to give up meat and I need to justify this.
Yeah, 100%. Dude, like, that's what, bro, like, I can't even see myself not having a burger ever again.
Yeah.
Or, like, chicken wings.
But, I mean, and so now, that's why I love this new Beyond Meat wave. Okay. And Impossible Burgers, okay, there's so much shit talked about these plant-based burgers now. Like, you know, everyone focuses on how it's not the perfect thing and how it's this goo. But, listen. There's so many processed things that look healthy. Regardless, I would rather eat mechanical goo than a real animal. If I need to eat something that satisfies some odd addiction that I built up, whether it's an addiction for a burger or a wing or whatever, then I'll eat the mechanical goo than the meat. And then if I transcend my addiction for burgers and wings altogether, then I'll eat real foods like Brussels sprouts and nuts and pasta and whatever the hell else is a balanced diet. So
Yeah, I mean, beyond burgers, Impossible beef, like you said,
they're not perfect.
They're not perfect. Yeah, it's still
they're a step up from
dude. All the chemicals.
Cow.
Yeah, in a fucking cow.
Yeah.
Like not only that, but like the shit they're pumping into the antibiotics. You know, like you're eating bullshit either way. Like it's definitely chemicals.
I don't know where this conversation ends. You know?
Yeah. It was just not even like an argument, bro. It was like, no, I kind of agree with you. but I don't want to give up meat. Like, fuck. Dude, there has to be a way to, like... I feel...
Yo, like, you know what really converted me? What the Health. Yeah. Watch a full Gary Yourofsky
I know, bro. You told me this, and I low-key just, like, I'm afraid to... Like,
this guy is like, next level.
And we don't see any of those animals in real life. Like, I don't know how fucking care-loving a fucking cow is, but like if I heard they're fucking like killing dog for like, you know, dog burgers, I'm like, bro.
They do that in China.
Right. I'm like, why the fuck are we having dog burgers, bro? Like these dogs, like they know they're fucking smart dogs. Like they have masters.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, like
how
cats,
we're not cool with the cats and the dogs, but we're cool with the cows. Right. And we're so conditioned, bro. Like we convince ourselves that cats and dogs are these angel animals, and that cows and pigs are just the shit animals. Like that's just how like it's seen now. It's like whatever. Let's kill those. Let's kill those.
Disgusting, bro.
Let's keep these. Yeah. These wag their tails. These are way cuter. Pigs, come on, they have no fur.
Yeah, right.
The Bible has a verse about them being unclean. Come on, let's kill them. They're bacon. All right, okay. Since I mentioned the Bible, that verse, I always wanted to say this. Love. You know, I don't know. Are you aware of this verse? I think Jesus says it. Love your neighbor as yourself. That whole verse.
Yeah.
Love your that whole thing. Love your friend or your neighbor as you would love yourself. Right. I always say in my own head, does that verse say love your neighbor as yourself, except for cows and pigs? Make sure you kill them in slaughterhouses and eat them. But love your neighbor, your human neighbors, as yourself. But the pigs, turn them into bacon.
Fuck the pigs. I want a roast.
So anyone that has an affinity towards the Bible, I ask you that question.
Dude, that's so true. Yeah, like they're like Jesus only died for the human sins.
Yep. Yeah, that's okay. Since we're talking about God, I believe. Well, so if you believe in a higher power, if you believe in a personal, infinite intelligence, what if that infinite intelligence is like shouting at us, like, y'all got it all wrong? Like, you know, what if we've convinced ourselves that we are humans, superior to animals, controlling the land? We have a lot of logic for this. We've convinced ourselves. My question is, what if we have it wrong?
Yeah, bro. There's so much shit we take for granted. Like, just the shit people tell us, like, and the shit that we believe, like, people are like, oh, this is solid. And they're like, oh, look a little closer. It's like, it's not completely solid. It's like, oh, okay, it's just a bunch of air with some other shit floating.
What are you talking about?
Like a quantum particle.
Oh, nice. I was like, is he talking about a fishbowl? Is he talking about chicken? Is he talking about salad bowl?
Salad bowl. So, like, there's so much shit that we got wrong.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, regardless whether or not you believe in reincarnation. Mm-hmm. What if if I did? What if I reincarnated as a mouse? Or we don't eat mice. What if I reincarnated as a cow?
Yeah.
Like, what if I lived and none of us really think about that. Like, what if we as spirits took the form of an animal? Like,
I was just getting
and
killed.
And then we still wouldn't be able to verbally speak because we're an animal now. You communicate in a different way.
So does that mean everything is more valid to eat, just don't eat the brain? Because that's where the consciousness lies. Plants are conscious, but they have an energy. But Joe Dispenza says...
But isn't that our own standard of the value of consciousness?
'Cause we're saying that because we could speak words, that we're more valuable than animals. We know that cows' mothers are so sad when their young is taken from them. We know. But she can't say, I'll sue you. She can't say, I have rights. She can only move